World War II. There are lots of reasons why we study World War II. One of the main reasons is because it's arguably one of the greatest watershed dates in American and world history. A watershed date is any date or event that changes the course of history. And so this war is going to make a huge impact in terms of just general world relations. It's going to change the world map and a whole bunch of other relationships in particular. One of the biggest things to come out of the war is that America and the USSR are going to emerge as the permanent world powers. Um, the USSR is what we call Soviet Russia. It's actually Russia and 13 of its nearby republics. And it was created when Vladimir Lenin overthrew Tsar Nicholas II and instituted what he termed to be a communist regime. So the USSR, up until 1991, is communist Russia, for better lack of term. The Cold War is also going to start as a direct result, which is where the US and the USSR were going to hate each other for about 50 years of extreme paranoia. And that's going to be our next couple chapters. But the Cold War gets its birth from World War II. Uh, World War II also ends the age of European imperialism, just fancy word for colonialism. Up until this point in time, Europe really had been the ones to kind of make most of the major world decisions. They also had so many colonies around the globe, for example. And really following World War II, this is all going to change and Europe is going to be considerably weakened, therefore ending the old world, if you will. The world map is going to be redrawn to what would look like more modern day times, obviously with the exception of some places in Africa, really around the Baltics and the USSR. Approximately 70 million people are killed, although that is obviously just a guesstimate. The Holocaust would add another 12 million, which happens concurrent as World War II, although we'll separate it for our purposes. World War II also shaped American political thought for over 50 years, how we looked at the world and how we looked at ourselves within the world. And it is going to be a direct lead up to the Korean and Vietnam Wars. So how does World War II actually get started? The number one cause of World War II is World War I, without a doubt. The Germans were so upset over everything that happened with the Treaty of Versailles that for many people, World War II was just picking up with all the hostilities that World War I had left resonating within Europe. If you'll recall, the Treaty of Versailles had said that the Germans were to blame for all of World War I, and as a result had to pay back a lot of land, huge reparations, which are war debts. Their army was demilitarized, it was greatly decreased in size, and they weren't allowed to make any new offensive weapons. In addition, the Rhineland was demilitarized completely, which was that area between France and Germany, and it is created as this buffer state to protect France more than anything else. And of course, the Germans had no say in any of this, being absent from the Treaty of Versailles proceedings. In addition, you're going to find that the economic depression that set in place in Europe and the world due to the reparations of the Treaty of Versailles made the Germans desperate for change. And so at this point, they were really looking for anything. They actually started to scapegoat, which means they blamed other people for their problems. In particular, they're going to blame the Jewish people. This is going to be the stab in the back myth. They're going to say that the Jewish people stabbed them in the back during the war. It just happened to be that many Jewish people worked in banking and accounting type of industries, and clearly when the Depression sets in, these are industries greatly affected by that. So as a result, the Jews became the easy scapegoats. It didn't help that the government in Germany after World War I was exceedingly weak. Their leader, Kaiser Wilhelm II, had abdicated at the end of the war. And so in desperation, the Germans created this temporary government called the Weimar Republic, kind of like our Articles of Confederation. And they had placed as the head of it a man by the name of General Paul von Hindenburg, who you will recall was one of the main generals at the end of World War I. He is going to rule as a centrist, as a moderate. He's going to try to make everybody in his country happy instead of taking any real firm stance on any of the situations. This makes it so that not very much progress is made within the country, and as a result, the Germans are going to start looking towards political extremes, feeling dissatisfied. And here you see Kaiser Wilhelm II as well as Paul von Hindenburg. So, if you're going to look to the extremes, there's two main political parties that were at the extremes of the political spectrum in Germany. All the way to the left, the most liberal extreme, would be obviously the Communist Party. Most people forget that there were indeed communists in Germany at the 1920s, 1930s. This party was called the Red Front. Obviously, since we don't know much about the Red Front, however, you realize that the rightist extreme is the one that's more successful. The rightist extreme is the Fascist Party, and in Germany, the Fascist Party was called the Nazis. Ultimately, the Nazis are going to be more powerful and more popular with the people in Germany than the Red Front for a variety of reasons that we're going to discuss. What is fascism? Fascism is a political ideology. It originates from an Italian term meaning bundle of sticks, fasci. And the idea is that within fascism, every single person is like a stick. No one stick is better than the other. And the goal would be for that each individual stick would become this tight bundle that would work well together. And in order to make sure that that bundle of sticks stays together, you have to have a super strong string, which would be a strong central leader with complete control. It's therefore similar to communism in that everybody's supposed to be equal, except in true communism there is no leader, there is no government. In fascism there is one strong totalitarian leader. And obviously in World War II that's going to emerge to be Adolf Hitler. The fascist party within Germany is called the Nazis. The word Nazi, N-A-Z-I, is actually an acronym. An acronym is just a shortened name for a much longer name. So the official name of the Nazi Party was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. When you take each of those words and translate them to German, you get Nazi. It's interesting that they would put socialist within their name because they were not socialistic in the least. It was just more of a campaign tool to try to get those who viewed themselves as socialists to jump on board with this party. Other misnomers about the Nazi Party: Hitler was not the founder. The Nazis had actually existed within Germany for quite some time before Hitler comes to find them. He was actually sent to spy on the Nazis, and eventually he is going to decide he agrees with them. And the party was founded in Munich instead of in the capital of Berlin, which is many people get that fact wrong. Originally, the Nazis were not anti-Semitic, which means opposed to the Jewish faith. But Hitler was very anti-Semitic, and as he gains control of the Nazi Party, he is going to make that part of the platform of the party itself. The Nazis are also going to adopt for them the symbol of the swastika, which is an ancient symbol which stood for harmony or peace depending on where it was used. And so he's going to use that symbol to try to get others to think, oh, this is a rather peaceful party. And of course, those crimes committed under the name of the swastika by the Nazis is what to this day has tainted that as the symbol. And here's just some early examples of the swastika throughout time. You can see, sometimes it twists in opposite direction, but many cultures, Greek, Hindu, Panama, Korea, Iran, they're all going to use it. And then the bottom picture is obviously the German variation.